Hey, what's up, Logos American History students? Welcome back to Tuesday, May 12th. We are on day 34, school day 34 of our COVID-19 e-learning experience. And we are, one day before midterm, right? Tomorrow, midterm grades are coming out, so we got a lot of work to do. Let's get right into it on the Blackboard. This is a new day for a new topic. Yesterday we talked about how we have come to the end of the 50s. We have come to the end of Eisenhower, President Eisenhower, right? Who was a general in World War II. So we're leaving the 40s and the 50s and all that old fashioned stuff behind us and moving into the exciting, dynamic 1960s. And, the president, the first president elected in the 1960s kind of embodies that dynamism of the 1960s, that excitement, and also the turmoil of the 1960s. And of course, I'm talking about JFK. Everybody knows JFK. I mean, there's so much things to know about JFK. The one thing everybody probably knows is he's the last president to be assassinated. But before that happened, right, he was the first Catholic, the only non-Protestant president ever elected. I mean, people say, well, that's weird, right? And who cares? But I mean, if no one cares, why has a Jewish person never been elected president? Why has a Muslim never been elected president? Why has only one Catholic ever been elected president? I mean, Protestantism is the dominant religion in the United States, but every president, 44 out of 45 presidents, have been a Protestant except for JFK. He was the youngest person ever elected president. Not the youngest person ever to serve as president. Teddy Roosevelt was the youngest person ever to serve as president. But he became president because he was the vice president. The president got assassinated. JFK was the youngest person ever elected president when he was elected in 1960. But he was also, a new kind of Democrat. He was from the northeastern part of the United States. A lot of Democrats had previously come from the southern part of the United States. FDR was a major exception. And FDR, when we talked about him, he kind of made the Democratic Party into the party of, working class, poorer people, right? Taken from the rich and giving to the poor. And JFK tried to continue that. And he also tried to continue or kind of start things for civil rights for African Americans. We learned a little bit about that in the last chapter. JFK was the president who said, we're going to go to the moon by the end of the 60s. And by God, we did, right? He also said, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. And then he started the Peace Corps, which is still around, which is still, a great organization that allows young Americans to go out and serve their country, but serve the world, right? Serve the poor. So JFK was great. And again, he was very popular, and his family was, because they were young and attractive. And again, it just kind of brought a different feel to the White House than had ever happened before. And then after a few years, it was all gone. So today we're going to be talking about JFK. That'll be your reading for today. If we go under topics and look at the 1960s, right? We see chapter 22, section 1 as the reading for today. And if we download that, what do we get? The New Frontier. The New Frontier. That's a good name for JFK's administration, right? But the section starts off talking about, I mentioned this yesterday, who did JFK defeat in the election in 1960? Richard Nixon. Richard Nixon was the vice president at the time. And one reason why JFK won this election, there's multiple reasons, and he may not have actually won the election. There may have been some shenanigans that went on, because it was a very, 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 very close election. One of the closest elections in history. But it was also the first time that two presidential candidates had debated on TV. It was a televised debate. And many historians say that this televised debate may have been enough to push JFK over the top in defeating Nixon. And why do they say that? Because JFK, I mentioned, attractive guy, looked good on TV. Richard Nixon, not so much. It wasn't Nixon's fault. I mean, again, you can't control what you look like, but also, I guess it was Richard Nixon's fault. He refused to wear makeup, right? He said, I'm not going to wear makeup. That's for sissies. Well, everyone wears makeup on TV, right? Because you look like crap if you don't wear makeup on TV. Should have worn makeup. He was also getting over feeling sick. So that he couldn't control. Could have controlled wearing makeup. But, when they did the debate, after the debate, half the people in the country listened to it on the radio, half the people watch it on TV. The people that listened to it on radio, when they polled them and asked them what was your opinion, who do you think won the debate, most of them said Nixon. When they asked the people the same question who watched it on TV, most of the people said JFK. Right? So it goes to show the power of television. But JFK wins a very close debate, and then he has a pretty productive 3 years when he wasn't playing with his kids in the White House. There's John F. Kennedy Jr., there's Caroline Kennedy. Again, this was a different kind of thing, having young kids in the White House, a young family. This had not happened before. So it was a cool thing. But then it was also tragic how he was killed. So this is the section. As always, you have your 4 questions, which can be found under assignments. If we go back to the assignments tab, right, it will be chapter 22, section 1 right there. As always, if we go into this assignment, you see we can submit through the online submission text. The questions are right here. You can also always use the Google Forms, which is right here. We bring that up. It will bring us to chapter 22, section 1, and our 4 questions, right? And again, these are always just the same 4 questions that are right there on the last page of the reading. And then, of course, we have our question of the day. And this is a fun question of the day for me because, let's take a look at it. Question of the day is also under assignments, under participation. If we go into question of the day, do you believe JFK was killed by a lone assassin, as the Warren Report concludes, or do you think it was part of a larger conspiracy that was covered up? Are there any other conspiracy theories that you are aware of that you think might be true? I love a good conspiracy theory. You know what? I used to be really, really into conspiracy theories and love to kind of, play along and say, oh yeah, that might be true. But you know what? In recent years, I've seen a lot of really, really stupid conspiracy theories out there. And this is my public service announcement. If you read about a conspiracy on Facebook or hear about one on a YouTube video, please do yourself a favor and check it out. Check the facts, right? Don't just believe what this person on the internet is telling you, because people on the internet are stupid. People on the internet are morons, right? Okay, you're some random dude on the internet. Why should I think that you know more than all the experts out there? I'm getting upset because I'm talking about all these coronavirus and COVID-19 conspiracy theories. They're bogus. They're BS, guys. Don't believe them, right? This, on the other hand, has all the makings of a conspiracy. There's no way that the official government account of how JFK was assassinated is the facts. There's absolutely a cover-up here. According to the government, Lee Harvey Oswald was just some crazy communist who was pissed off at JFK and decided, I'm just gonna go ahead and assassinate him. And he just happened to be a military-trained sniper who just happened to have a job working at a book depository with a clear line of shot of JFK's parade route in Dallas that day. And then, oh, coincidence, he just the assassin, Lee Harvey Oswald, just happened to be killed himself 3 days after JFK was killed. Oops. In police custody, being walked out in police custody, and some random person out of the crowd just comes up and shoots him. No trial, no testimony. What a coincidence, right? Not to mention that JFK had a lot of enemies, right? So, sorry, that's a conspiracy. That's a real conspiracy that we may never know, as the book says, the facts, but the official government report is a lie. In this case, right? The moon landing? I'm pretty sure we've been to the moon. Could we have faked that first moon landing it was 1969, and JFK had promised that we'd make it to the moon before the Russians and before the end of the decade, and we were under a deadline. So maybe we were close, but not quite there, so we faked that first moon landing. But I'm pretty sure people have been to the moon. Again, these are just a couple examples of some fun conspiracy theories that may be true. If you know any, please submit. Otherwise, if you have any questions, any concerns, let me know, and I will see y'all tomorrow. Peace.